Now I would like to show a game from a more mature Capablanca than a 5-year-old kid. Here there is a game from 1913. 1913, it's already 2 years after the famous tournament which revealed Capablanca as a top player. This tournament was San Sebastian 1911. It seems that 1912 was the best year for Rubinstein, and 1913 Capablanca toured around United States, America, South America and Cuba. In 1913, here it says that he competed in several small tournaments in New York and Havana, and in January, July and August he came fourth, winning all 14 games in the last one. Here the biographers write, Capablanca's game from this period indicate that he was in top form and was honing his skills. Capablanca is white and Chayes is black. Played in New York. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop B5, A6, Bishop A4, Knight F6, Castle, B5, Bishop B3, Bishop E7, D4, D6. Okay, so here there is a note which says the knight takes d4 would have been followed by bishop take f7, king take f7, and knight takes e5, obviously with queen takes d4 after. So I hope you can see it. Knight takes d4, bishop takes f7, king takes f7, knight takes e5, and then depending on the king where he goes, queen takes d4, gets it back, and that's kind of a very good for white. But here it says also e takes d4 is bad because there is e5, knight e4, bishop d5, knight c5, and then knight takes d4, and this is kind of pin because behind there is the rook. I'm just trying to show you with my finger instead than over the board, because this kind of thing will happen in your tournament, and so you need to be able to visualize at least 2-3 moves. Okay, so after knight takes d4, remember bishop takes f7. Okay, let's continue. After d6 there is c3, bishop g4, bishop e3, castle, knight b d2, knight a5. Here probably black could have tried d5, but obviously there are probably great complications. So knight a5, bishop c2, rook e8. Now, if you were white, what would you play? Because this is kind of interesting. I have seen this game already once. I made a video, but not from this book, obviously. I think there is a lot of analysis that one should do. And here Capablanca played b4. E takes d4, C takes d4, knight c6, e3, bishop f8, rook c1, and knight e7, e5, d takes e5, d takes e5, and bishop takes f3. So guys, I don't know if you understood why bishop takes f3, because if you move the knight away, like here for example, or here, you're going to lose a pawn, because bishop takes h7, and then there is knight g5, right, and then queen takes g4. This is a typical trick, we could say, or a tactic, due to the fact that once you remove the defender, this becomes very, very weak, right? So that's why black took on f3. Queen takes f3, and knight d7. Queen h3, knight g6, f4. Obviously, here there is a possible checkmate. One tries to remove this, right? Knight b6, knight f3, and knight c4. Now this game comes from the book Capablanca, My Chess Career, and here Capablanca wrote, although this knight is now very strongly posted, he obviously means that this is a very good outpost. Why? Because practically it cannot be challenged, right? And so is controlling a lot of enemy territory. It's very good for that. It says, although this knight is now very strongly posted, it cannot by itself block the whole attack, as the white pieces are all well placed for the coming attack. Black, however, has nothing better. Okay, so if he has nothing better, we could have saved some words. Just saying. Knight g5, h6. Obviously there was a checkmate if he didn't answer. Now, if you were white, what would you play in this position? And here obviously you should have calculated this kind of combination in advance. I don't know if you did it or not, if you see it or not. It's a typical Tal style, because Tal love to sacrifice on f7. Knight takes f7, boom. An ingenious combination calculated well in advance. King takes f7, Queen f5, King g8, and Queen takes g6. Obviously, you know guys, sometimes it's not just the material, because obviously for material you see it's only like a pawn at the moment, but sometimes it's really about the position, because once you destroy the defense, it's possible to give checkmate, right? And so that's why it was a good combination. How does black continue? With knight takes e3. So as you can see, it's forking this and this, right? Queen h7, king f7, bishop b3. That's what I was thinking. That's the lapsus. Knight c4, and again, no, you should know what you would have done in case of king e7. Try to eventually pause the video and see king e7, what would you have played, because obviously Capablanca had to calculate this move, otherwise you are losing the game if you don't calculate a move and the enemy can actually escape. So he played knight c4, to which Capablanca continued with rook fd1. Practically, as you can see, is cutting away the escape. Queen b8, and what would you play now? Because also now it's clearly what the position need, right? You need to get rid of this. And why? Because you want to continue to attack. So white played rook takes c4, b takes c4, bishop takes c4, king e7, and queen f5, and here black resign. No, he didn't resign. He played queen b6, and then king f1, and then he resigned. This is important maybe for this reason, because as you can see, if when it was, I think, here, right, it was like this. If it had played, let's see, what could have played? Oh, let's see. King e7, and if he played this, when he played king e7, yeah, with the idea of giving checkmate here, right? Because if he can, here it's checkmate. Here it's a wrong move. Instead of queen f5, can you find out why it's the wrong move? Because obviously you think I'm giving checkmate here or here, right? Well, it's a wrong move because of this, queen b6. And once he plays this, obviously you lost the queen, and so black is winning. Instead, with queen f5, queen b6, once he moves here, what can black do, right? And so that's kind of how the game ended, because at this point it becomes impossible to avoid probably a checkmate. I hope you enjoyed this game, and we will see more from this great book, because obviously I like the collection of games, and I like the biography that goes with it, because it brings us back to a historic period that many of us don't know at all, right? Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.